Matt Nagy. Pronounce it right, Joe.
Nagy.
No, it's not it.
We're live, Joe.
Say it again. Say it right.
We're live, Joe.
Nagy.
There you go.
Matt Nagy.
He should spell it with an E there. He can't do anything right. He couldn't coach the Bears right. He couldn't do anything right. He couldn't even spell his name right.
Couldn't wear a visor right. Always sunburn in his dome. Lucas knows about that.
Goodness gracious. Couldn't grow hair on the top of his head. Couldn't call an offense. Couldn't get anybody to line up.
Hired nothing but bald guys.
Yeah, jeez. Welcome in. We are live. The Believe in Monsters podcast. Luke, you better leave that in. That's my emotion about Matt Nagy. Welcome into the Believe in Monsters podcast. We're finishing our final episode of our summer rewind as our Chicago Bears report the training camp tomorrow. When you listen to this episode, they will already have been reported. Tomorrow is Tuesday, July 26th, and our Chicago Bears report to training camp tomorrow. So we're wrapping up our summer rewind series, our year one rewind, just a little project we've been doing. If you missed any of our episodes, you can go back and find us on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, anywhere you can find podcasts. We've reviewed Roquan Smith. We've reviewed Mark Trestman. Last week we reviewed John Fox, and tonight Matt Nagy. Welcome in to Believe in Monsters podcast. Find us on the Twitter machine at BIM_pod. Find my friend Chris Krogman at Shy Bears 1985 on the Twitter machine. And always find my friend Lucas Berry at LBerry_40. As tonight we get into the Chicago Bears of 2018. Well, 17, 18, kind of that off season there.
What a great year. Great season.
Yeah.
I would be thrilled if Eberflus's first year was like that year.
Eberflus. So we will see if there's any comparisons we can draw to Matt Nagy as the Chicago Bears won the division in 2018, and ultimately Matt Nagy was named head coach of the year. Before we kind of get into that, let's break out the formalities. Gentlemen, Lucas Berry, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Another week here. We are one day away from our big golf trip here. Me and Krogman going to be tearing up some courses out in Nevada. So I'm excited for that. Otherwise, I'm just trying to get through my 2-day work week, produce some content here with you guys tonight, which I love doing every week. And yeah, I'm excited for football season. You know, training camp is here. It's one of the better times of the year, I think, if you're a football fan. It's when optimism reigns eternal. You know, we're pretty excited. No matter how good or bad you think the team will be, it's always great when training camp rolls around and everyone is very hopeful for what they see. So I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking, Joe. Chris, how you doing, man?
Oh, Lucas, I am beyond excited to travel west, and the weather is not supposed to be that bad. In previous years when I've played in this tournament, it's been upwards of 111 to 115 degrees, and our dumbasses teed off at noon, so that was really stupid. But we've since gotten smarter and tee off 7 a.m., so probably won't even break 100 by the time we're done, which is great. And I hang out at the pool the rest of the day, so I'm super geeked for that. Plus, usually
we might do it with our golf scores, though.
Golf scores won't be. That's not a thing. Who cares? It'll just be fun. So usually this tournament takes place a little bit later in the year when preseason has started. This year it's a little earlier, but that's fine. Camp will be going on. We'll have, camp news going on. We already have some Bears news starting to trickle in, but I am doing great, Lucas. My work day today was fantastic. Good way to end the week. Already have my goals hit for the month, so I sail into this vacation without stressing about quota attainment or any KPIs or any bullshit like that. So Pumped to be here with you guys. Pumped to talk about these knuckleheads behind me, the Chicago Bears. What's on tap tonight, Lou? As Joe takes out his cat.
Well, you can see behind me, I have the Soldier Field non-domed. So before we get into Matt Nagy, we have some just things to clear out in our junk drawer of Bears news.
Drug test Lori Lightfoot.
Yeah, she's trying to put a dome on Soldier Field that would potentially increase the capacity to 70,000, which still really isn't that large for a modern day stadium. And well, putting a dome on the stadium is just stupid because if you're going to spend all that money doing it, you might as well build a brand new damn stadium. That being said, I actually really thought the stadium design looked pretty cool. A mix of Ford Field and the Minnesota Vikings field. I thought it looked pretty sweet. Soldier Field domed with a little glass roof, but overall, I'm just excited to see a state-of-the-art stadium when they do move to Arlington Heights. And notice I said do because there's no way they're staying in Chicago at this point.
That's a good minimum. When do you guys think they could actually open Arlington Heights? What's the earliest you think they could open it?
Is it? I don't know if I'm crazy, but they built that Rams stadium super fast. I feel like from the time they purchased the property, I felt like that was built at like supersonic speed.
What would you say is supersonic speed? Like, I thought it was at least 2 full years.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty fast. I feel like to actually
but like
purchase a plot of land, like I feel like 10 plus years for like a plot of land and development and stuff like that. So I think 2 to 5 years, I think is extremely quick in my opinion.
Well, things move fast when you have that much money. Cronkies have a shit ton of money. They just give no fuck.
Well, yeah, it's not even that. The NFL is going to help too. I mean, the NFL is probably going to help buy out of their lease of Soldier Field.
Well, for sure.
Realistically, I would say by 2030.
Okay. All right. That's not that fast. I mean, I was thinking.
Well, they still have to go through the process of buying the land and stuff. So it's going to.
I thought they already did that. I thought that was already
not
finished.
It's not done deal. It's finished. I think there's.
I thought they had gotten the ticket, and then like the most recent news was that they won the property, and the deal was signed, sealed, and delivered.
Well, they had to complete the purchase, which is still kind of. I don't know how major real estate deals work on that end, but it seems like the completing of the purchase will happen at the end of near the end of 2022 or the early part of 2023.
All right, maybe 2030 is a little bit steep then. 2028 maybe.
I was thinking 28. I was thinking,
which would be cool. I mean, I want to still be,
at least
I don't want to be an old man when this happens.
32, right, Joe?
Yeah, I think it's 33 is when their lease runs out for Soldier Field. So you're looking at any time between 28, 29, and 33.
I think they'll get them out.
I don't think they'll fulfill the lease though.
No.
5 years is nothing. Goodell will buy that out or help them get out of that, and Lightfoot will probably.
Lightfoot will put a new NFL team in there.
I mean, you really can't blame her. I feel like it's just optics at this point. Like obviously the Bears are a huge revenue for the city, but when the team doesn't own the stadium and they're fighting with the Parks District, it's just a complete nightmare, and there's not much she can do. So I guess good on the optics, but
outside of the actual event, and the parking and things like that, like won't Chicago still benefit from all of the, goings on Sundays and the Bears and travelers and hotels and food and all that shit? Like everybody's like the city, people are still gonna go to Chicago. They're not gonna go to Arlington Heights and fucking kick it. I mean, they might go have a meal there or whatever. They might go drink after the game or before the game or whatever around the stadium. But if I'm traveling to the city of Chicago, I'm not hanging out in Arlington Heights. I'm going to the city.
Well, you might though if they build this huge 200-acre mecca of hotels and bars that's all Bears themed, and you're not worried about city traffic or anything like that.
Right.
Like, so I mean, I could see both sides of it. I mean, you are right. Like, if you're going there, you're going to see Chicago, but you're not going to be probably not staying in Chicago, and maybe not.
It's not like they're moving out of. It's not like they're moving to Jacksonville or some shit, or London.
No,
they're not moving out of the state of Illinois. And she's like, how is she going to be in office when this takes place.
She won't. Like I said, she's just saving face. It's just
people don't
it's optics.
She's up for re-election next spring, I think is what it is.
We don't talk politics here. This isn't the Believe in Politics podcast.
All right,
they have that. I don't think they have that.
The new garb, orange. Orange is the new black, I guess.
Orange helmets.
I like orange. I like them. You know, there was some.
I like the helmet.
The friend group, that matte orange would have been pretty dope. I think that would have been cool as well. I've always liked the orange jerseys. I'm super fine with the orange helmets.
I think it's the pants that throw it off for me. I think the white pants with it though, that just kind of throws me through. Like, I don't know why. I think the orange is cool, but then like the white pants, just like, I don't know. If the pants are navy, I feel like that would be sick.
I thought, do we even have an all navy uniform?
We have for color.
We used to.
That was. I mean, the more alternatives we come up with, the more like off that they can get. You know, that we can have all orange, we can have all white, we can have a blue helmet with all orange jerseys and pants and fucking socks and shoes and shit. I think like we'll see the NFL start to go towards like basketball and college football where you just see like an alternative.
They should. I mean, it's fun. It's definitely fun. It's not like, it's like the NFL, I feel like just has some like, you can wear 3 uniforms all year and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, who cares? Let teams do what they want with their jerseys.
Plus, you have
these few helmets, and
you have these fanatics out there, and God
that want every piece of merchandise.
Every single piece of merchandise. You're missing out on a shit ton of money. Somebody will go out and buy all 6 versions of the Justin Fields jersey. We have a buddy in our group today that was like, "Can I get this helmet yet? When can
it was $900.
It's like $700 to $900, and he's like,
"Can I wear it?
Can I go donate plasma to get this thing and wear it around the stadium? Because that's my jam." So yeah, NFL should do this. You're right. They should have done this a long time ago.
It's cool too. I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty cool to see bring back some of these throwbacks too, like the Falcons and Patriots. They got some cool throwback uniforms. What is your favorite Bears jersey? Mine is the navy with the orange letters that have no outline. That is by far my favorite jersey. I love that thing.
Beautiful.
I like the white with the blue, the white throwbacks.
The one they wore last year, like the one with the Wolverines helmet.
Yeah, I do like the one you
that one's sick.
That one's sick as well. The white throwbacks are sick. I mean, for like just plain Bear jerseys, I'm blue all day.
To go back to our original point, my first ever Bears jersey was a Devin Hester pure orange. Love that thing.
Mine was an Urlacher orange.
Yeah, I think the orange jerseys are sick. I think it's the white pants for me that throws it off a little bit. But
it is weird.
Right.
The orange hat and the white pants.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like it just
needs more. Dude, they're creamsicles. Everybody loves a creamsicle, though. Those things are fucking delicious, dude. And if you don't, you can unsubscribe. You can unfollow me. You can fucking block me, dude, because that is like the best ice cream treat in all the land.
They're lying to themselves if they say they don't like it. That's all. It's
dead serious, Joe. Like his shit's like crack, dude. Everybody. I was gonna say everybody likes crack, but I don't know.
They do once they try it.
They might. You never know. What else?
So in actual
Lucas?
Actual players news, we got Roquan Smith. Breaking news today is apparently holding out of veteran mini camp or training camp when veterans report tomorrow. He wants a new contract.
Who?
Roquan.
The dude who's missed games because of STDs and like
and also got his iPad stolen when he first got drafted.
What, dude? You know what? Like that's the story. That was the disappearing story of the summer, right? Is that whole sexual allegations thing? That thing is gone. We talked about this like 3 weeks after it happened. Nothing happened. There was so much evidence, and people were so up in arms, and now it's gone.
Nothing. Now the spotlight is on Roquan himself. He obviously wants a new deal. People are mad at Ryan Poles. I mean, what do you guys make of this? The Bears have the cap space. I mean, they cleared house. They could bring Roquan back if they want. Do you think maybe Poles doesn't view him? Maybe it's not his guy. Do you think maybe they don't really view him as a will like we do in the Eberflus defense? Do you think he's a potential trade chip for someone, say, like DK Metcalf? That rumor's floating out there. Or do you think this is just Roquan?
Rumor. That's a bunch of fans blowing smoke up everybody's ass and talking about what they would do with
We
Roquan.
could get a wide receiver.
You can't even let something breathe before you're already trying to move on from like the best young linebacker we've had since Urlacher. And like if you look at his tackles for loss, his all-out production, there's only like one Hall of Fame player that's done the same things that Roquan's done in his first few years. And while it may not be a position of, sexiness like some fans want to complain about, it's a vital part of this defense and what the culture of the Bears has always been built on. I think somebody said it on Twitter that this is a new GM being tested on where his breaking point is, right? So allegedly he hasn't seen a deal that he would even come close to signing. So
that's agent talk.
Right.
Does he have an agent, Joe? Or is he still his own agent?
I don't know.
I think Abella Danger is his agent.
But that line, hasn't seen a deal that he's close to considering. That's a bunch of agent hooey.
Yeah, that's the Scott Boras talk.
It sounds like the floor for him is about $20 million per year. It seems like that's the
floor. That's what Darius signed for, right?
I think that's kind of like the Fred Warner, Darius Leonard, Bobby Wagner floor. Yeah, I do think it's $20 million per year over like 4 or 5 years.
So what I think,
which is a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's a ton of money to play.
So this is my take on any contract situation you ever want to talk about, and this is what I'll say. Everybody looks in the past to compare people to, and nobody really thinks about the future.
It's going to keep going up.
The cap space is going to be. And what I want to see is like what percentage of the cap did Team X, whether it's Fred Warner or Darius Leonard, spend on player Y, and then apply that same situation to player Z that you're trying to sign. So if 20 million is what was the cap last year, like 180 or something like that. If it's going up to 200 and 20 million is 10% of your cap, if that's comparable to, say like whatever Urlacher got when he was signing, then fucking do it. Like, people think 20 million. Oh my God, that's quarterback money. Or that's what people are still living in. The Joe Flacco got $20 million fucking fantasy land. Like these guys need money. These guys are going to get money. The NFL is going to continue to churn out billions and billions of dollars. The cap will continue to go up. We still haven't really seen how this TV deal is going to affect the cap. They're still recovering some, more or less from like the COVID cap years. So if the cap next year is like $240 million, are you going to complain about $20 million on Roquan? No. Shut up. Spend it. Give him his money.
Well, not only that, there's also a cap floor that the Bears have to spend. So I think it's every 3 years, you have to spend X amount of your cap space you basically just have to, the NFL doesn't want teams hoarding money. So you have to spend a certain amount of money on players within a 3-year window. And the Bears did not spend a lot this year. So they're going to have a lot to spend next year. And Roquan, he still wouldn't even really, they would still have to pay Roquan and spend more money next year to get to that threshold. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it's something to keep in mind. Like the Bears need to spend a shit ton of money next year to be eligible or whatever within that rule of the NFL. So it's another interesting wrinkle.
Darius is roughly 20, and that was in 21. It looked like he signed that. So
it's fairly comparable. It's fairly comparable right now. I would say about 20 million for Roquan. But you're right, Chris. It's just going to keep going up. So you can't really, cry about the dollars and cents here. Talk about another contract dispute. Rookie
That's the one I'm
Jaquan
more interested in.
Brisker. Apparently, they're arguing over 30-year guaranteed money of about maybe $100,000 or so.
What a joke!
It's awfully interesting.
How much money?
Supposedly, it's like over $100,000 or $200,000 or something in guaranteed money for year 3 of Jaquan Brisker's contract that they're bickering over. And
I don't
he is
understand.
also another guy that's holding out.
It's a rookie deal. The money is set.
That's what I thought. But
From-
there are some
From the Brisker side of it, though, if you're not a first round pick, you don't get guaranteed contracts after
Sure.
I think 2 years. So that's what he's arguing over. He wants his guaranteed money, but
I thought it
the
was
Bears
4.
are not. I don't know exactly what it
There's
is. I mean,
different
we could-
languages, but the money is set. The money is set. It just depends on exactly like Luke said, if it's guaranteed or if it's not. And if it's into workout bonuses or showing up and doing extra Y bonus, but the money, the amount is set. It's just how it gets doled out, how it gets divvied out over the life of the contract. And yes, right here in the third year is the sticking point. But like, you're already on the hook for it, Ryan Poles. Just you're on the hook for it. Give it to him.
So a comparable deal.
Contract.
Sorry, just to jump back to the last thing I did the maths. Darius Leonard signed for about 10.9% of the $182.5 million cap in 2021. The cap this year is $208.2 million. So Roquan at 11%, essentially, or 10.9% would be $22.7 million. So if you can get him for 20, you fucking pull that trigger.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what.
And Brisker, this is a stupid thing. I don't know what's happening. I don't understand if this is just Poles trying to, flex his muscle. Like Cliff Stein's running contracts now, so maybe it's nothing. I think one big thing that we've talked about this in the past is just like social media has way too much access to all this information. This could be a nothing burger and they're just working through it and he's going to be there day 2. Like we talked about Eddie Jackson not being there and then he was there the next day, or fucking Jalen Johnson being on second team and then he was first team the next day. Like this could be a nothing story, but there's nothing else to talk about. And social media wants, to know the color of Justin's shoelaces. And if they're orange, oh my God.
I want to know the color.
What does it all mean?
That's what I want to know. The underwear color. Do we think just boxers, briefs, or something else?
I think he goes commando.
Hell yeah. We can talk about Justin's new hairdo. You got.
I like it.
Yeah, the little braids kind of dealio.
Now we got Matt Nagy to talk about here. First year Matt Nagy.
Fuck that
How-
mother bleeper.
How does he compare? Well, all right. Well, let's rewind you to how you felt year 1 with him.
Snake oil salesman.
The
You
day
did not say that right away.
No.
That first year,
I loved him.
2018 was
I loved him.
one of the best years of my Bears fandom, and I can't
Yes.
even lie. I was so happy that year. I thought
Yes.
he finally figured it out. I thought Trubisky was the guy.
Yes.
The whole 9 yards. It was
Jordan
it was
Howard.
sunshine and rainbows, except for week 1. That week absolutely crushed me.
Well, let's start with the fucking preseason news of when they traded for Khalil Mack. Like that was like the greatest day. Outside of the Cutler trade, that was like the greatest offseason news I've been through. Like I remember
that
the day-
offseason as a whole was great.
Yes.
we were doing our fantasy football draft, and that when that news broke, and I had like a Packer fan I had a Vikings fan, and they were just like heartbroken that Khalil Mack was going to be a Bear. And I was like, listen, these guys are going to show out week 1. You're going to see. And they fucking did for like 2.5, 3 quarters. They were dick kicking the shit out of the Packers. Aaron Rodgers left the game. We
It
saw.
could be illegal to shoot up a player with that much drugs at halftime.
He was not even there after the game. He was so glossy. Hey, yeah, here's my knee. Here's my knee. Guys.
Dude, he carved us up though at the end, man. Oh my God.
You knew it was
Wasn't
coming,
even
man.
thinking.
It was fucking chuck that
Dope.
deep ball. God, make me want
Doped up
Randall
Rodgers.
Randall Cobb, I hate you.
Cobb.
I hate Randall. I hate you, Randall.
Randall
Cobb.
Cobb, if you fucking fell down the stairs and died today, I wouldn't cry.
I don't know about that. I mean, cry. I wouldn't cry, but I would definitely be like, "Oh shit, man, we lost another one."
No,
Is he the one that picked up the fumble and ran it in on that one play where like nobody knew it was a fumble? Wasn't that Cobb too?
I have no idea.
Fuck that
I
play.
hate him.
Anyway, yeah, week 1 sucked, but man, they went 12-4, had the best defense in the league. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good. You're on a roll.
I mean, they had, week 1 was a loss to Green Bay. They beat Seattle by a touchdown in week 2, Cardinals by a couple points in week 3. But week 4, that Tampa Bay game where Mitch threw 5 touchdowns.
I was there.
It was 6 touchdowns.
What a game to see. I will never forget. Some dude literally told me in the parking lot, he's like, Mitch is going to throw 10 touchdowns today. And I was like, dude, shut up. And then he fucking went out and did that. And I was like, he wasn't actually that far off. What incredible. Did James, wasn't Fitzpatrick Jameis got benched for Fitzpatrick that game, I think, on the Buccaneers or vice versa. Well, they got absolutely throttled that game. Just a spectacular year. I think that week 4 is like the launching point. Like the Bears just kind of took off after then.
Then we had that shitty
Miami game, right?
But that's the beginning of the, like, looking back on it with hindsight being 2020. Like that's the first coming out of a bye week. Matt Nagy completely unfucking prepared, because everybody knew the Dolphins did this shit early in the season where they would make you wear your road jerseys and sit on the sidelines with the sun right in your face, and we were completely fucking drained and lost in overtime 28-31. Mitch threw a pick in the end zone.
He said he couldn't see the
receiver because he like meshed with the background or something like that, right?
Yep. The Dolphins DB. The Dolphins DB had the same, basically was wearing the same color as the goalpost stanchion, and we were wearing orange that day.
No, we were wearing blue.
Were we? I'm pretty sure it was orange.
I could have swore we were wearing orange.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were wearing orange.
Mitch was thrown to the goalpost.
That year makes me emotional because for many reasons, but that was the first year I got up Soldier Field for that Jets game, and I realized just how negative our fan base really was, because we won that Jets game. Tariq Cohen running 70, 80 yard screen pass. And you had an Anthony Miller touchdown pass. Jordan Howard had a plotting day, but it was just like everything that went wrong. And the fans around me were dog cussing at our own team. And I thought to myself, man, I wonder how this attitude affects the franchise. But like as soon as it looked like, oh, we're actually going to win this game, it was just such a party. And they went on a roll and won the division that year, beat Green Bay. You got that epic picture of Mitchell pulling his division championship hat down low. And I know it didn't end the way we wanted it to. Obviously,
blew a chance, man.
To the double doink, but man, just that year was so special, and that's partly what makes me so bitter towards Matt Nagy is you showed me just how much fun it could be to be a Bears fan and have us be successful, even if a lot of it was smoke and mirrors. It was, but man, I knew how to get here.
I mean, there was, that first year was fantastic, but we can't lie to ourselves and say, some of the writing was on the wall. We kind of just ignored it. Like you said, just being unprepared in certain big moments. And we can't even lie and say, like, the defense was historically good and carried a lot of that team, which Nagy had absolutely nothing, 0% to do with. And that defense was just insane. carried the Bears all season. But if we really look back on it, they were projected 7.5 wins that year. Vegas had them at plus 6,000 Super Bowl odds, so they were kind of a long shot. So just having the season they had was kind of crazy. And if we're looking forward to kind of this season, I don't know if I really think that's within the realm of possibility for them to be that good, but I kind of think, they could win more games than we think, just because I think they'll be a very well-coached teams and, might catch teams by surprise, kind of like that 2018 Bears team did. Chris, what do you think about this, comparing, how did you feel in 2018? And do you think, there's any resemblance between this current roster and what we had then?
It's interesting. Before the Khalil Mack trade, and even after, I was like, man, are we really that one player away from being a contender in, this season? And I put a lot of faith in Nagy and his offensive prowess, or what was, what we all thought was going to be an offensive minded coach coming from a tree of successful head coaches under Andy Reid.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily think year one under Nagy was going to be that good until the Mac trade. And then I thought, well, shit, man, maybe they'll be all right. Even, I thought Nagy would use Mitch to his strengths, but he just never did. He just tried to force feed that system and it just didn't work out. So comparing it to this year, I don't know, man. I guess I'm kind of hesitant to think that Getsy can do the same with Fields. I think Fields is a head and shoulders more talented than Mitch Trubisky was coming out of college, but to rely so much on an offensive system making that big of a difference. And I don't think we have the same defensive difference makers necessarily, especially up front, that we did in 2018, or an experienced, defensive coordinator like Vic Fangio. I know Alan Williams and Eberflus have been together for a while and are good coaches, but I don't know. I didn't really see it then, so I can't say I see it now for sure, being, us being successful. And when, so many people, quote unquote, in the know think we're going to win like 3 games, it's hard for me not to, hear a lot of that.
The only real parallel is that you can draw, at least from my opinion, is second year quarterback. You got a running back who probably, I think Jordan Howard overperformed his talent, and I think David Montgomery is very talented, but I also think that he gets all the juice out of the talent that he's got. What else do you really have? You've got Trey Burton, Chris Krogman keeps telling me that Cole Kmet's going to have a great year, and I want that for him. I do, but you don't really have.
Cole Kmet will have a better year this year than Burton had in 2018.
Yeah, so, he went 60 for 600 last year, Joe. He only had 3 touchdowns, right? But you had Jimmy Graham, who stole a lot of those touchdowns.
Yeah.
He dropped a very obvious one in 1 week, but it was hard for him to get his head around and shit like that. So is 60 for 600 not a pretty good season out of a tight end?
Yeah.
I mean, Trey Burton 2018 had 54 for 569 and 6 touchdowns. So to think that Cole Kmet is going to be better than 60 and 600, I think, that's probably close to a top 10 tight end in the league, honestly.
Yeah. I do think that, you look at, Matt Nagy coming out of a successful Andy Reid tree, and then you see Luke Getsy coming out of what has been a pretty successful Kyle Shanahan kind of tree. Matt LaFleur getting a new contract extension today, but that has been a successful philosophy across several different coaches over the league. But to Chris's point, the defensive difference makers aren't there. You don't have Akeem Hicks up at the front. You don't have Eddie Goldman up at the front. You don't have anybody. Like, I worry about us stopping the run this year. Oh, I worry about us stopping the run.
So Akeem Hicks, before he got to Chicago, was kind of a journeyman, bounced around the league quite a bit, right? So I mean, could Justin Jones be that guy? I mean, I'm not saying he will be, but in the right system and being healthy, like, obviously all things need to go right, and that's what we hear a lot of times from pessimistic or, glass half full Bears fans as well. A lot of things got to go right for them to win. And that's kind of true for any team. If you look at Super Bowl teams, a lot of things have to go right for them to, win the Super Bowl or have a really good year, unless they're just fucking dominant. But that's not usually the case. Like the Cincinnati Bengals, man, dude, we played them last year.
We beat them.
Fucking beat that team. We, Mr. Hollywood Joe threw 4 fucking picks in a row or whatever. So, like, they had a springboard after the Bears and won a lot of games, but so it can happen is what I'm saying. And there can be some, like, that secondary has the potential to be really good. If Eddie Jackson can bounce back, Brisker, I'm not concerned about him signing. It'll happen. Johnson and Gordon could be really good on the outside. And then, it comes down to, can Trevis Gibson take a big jump? He's shown that he's shown flashes. So it could happen, and things do have to go right. But looking back at the parallels of that 2018 team, is Akeem Hicks as awesome as he is without Khalil Mack? I don't know.
Yeah, they're kind of almost the way they're going about things here is almost kind of very opposite of what the 2018 team did. I mean, that year they had Trubisky play basically all year as a rookie, and Ryan Pace was at that point, kind of a veteran GM and kind of put all his chips in around Mitch and the Bears to take a step forward that year.
Whereas Allen Robinson to a big deal.
Whereas this year for Ryan Poles, he's kind of dipping his toes in the water and cleaning out, whatever's left over from the previous regime. So it's kind of very different scenarios in that aspect. The biggest thing I can take away is that teams will probably be caught off guard by what the Bears have to offer this year. And, I expect them to also win more games than people expect, but more so because I believe that the coaching will be a lot better than what they've had in the past. And, it's kind of opposite of what they had with Nagy. I think Nagy just caught people off guard, and, they had a more talented roster, and here they have a less talented roster and better coaching. So, I think they will win more games than people think. But from, a mile view, these teams are kind of very different, just because I think this Bears team is still in the midst of figuring out who they are and what they are. And that 2018 Bears team, they kind of, I don't know. Like I said, Ryan Pace kind of went very far in on them being a decent team, and it was kind of a one-year wonder.
It didn't have to be, though. I mean, like, even if they don't win the Super Bowl that year, they get past the Eagles. Maybe they make the NFC Championship game. Maybe they even make the Super Bowl. I think that propels that team. I think 2019, or maybe not. Maybe 2019. 2019 they came in with a swagger, like they thought they were the tits, and they just fucking weren't. Yeah. So maybe that should have knocked them on their ass and made them work twice as hard, but it really did. Speaking of coaching, Lucas, I'm super curious to see. We've heard Okay. So one big issue I always had with Matt Nagy is there was never an identity. There was no clue as to who this team was, what the system really was. There wasn't really a system. It kept evolving into, he kept calling it 101 and 202, and really it was fucking regressing from 101 to 100 to 50 to hey, we're back in elementary school, let's let fucking the substitute teacher take over the offense because I don't know what I'm doing anymore, and he had to hand the play calling over to Laser. So we've already heard Eberflus come out and pretty much talk about what this identity of this team is going to be: blue collar, work hard, play hard, run fast, work on alignment, assignment so that they can be ready, be prepared, and play fast because that's what matters. I'm so curious to see how Getsy's going to apply that identity to the offense. We've already heard him come out and say that we are going to play to the strengths of the players we have, which is just something Matt Nagy never did. He never utilized Tariq Cohen very well. He never really played to what Allen Robinson did well. He just made these guys run his stupid ass system. He never designed plays with a player in mind. And you heard,
I feel like he did do it a little bit in 2018, but like you said, it just regressed after that. Like
he did
like
it
Joe
for
said,
fucking jackasses. He did it for offensive linemen. He didn't do it for like the stars of the show. Let's run Santa Slay, bro, and fucking.
Well, we saw Cohen definitely get. I feel like Cohen caught a lot more passes in 2018, and for example, in that Eagles game, it took him a full half to do it, but eventually he started running Allen Robinson on double moves, and like Allen Robinson was cooking the Eagles corners in that playoff game. But like you said, Nagy's always move is just he's always lagging behind. Like he never made great adjustments. For the most part, he did not put people in, especially Mitch. Like we said last week, he didn't put Mitch in a position to succeed after that first year. He didn't do it. And I'm not, I think Mitch is what he is. I think he could be a solid starting level QB in the league.
You got to take the Steelers to the Super Bowl, and all you got to see just how bad Matt Nagy was.
Does it matter, Joe, at this point? Like, seriously, like, what does that do for us as Bears fans? Like,
nothing.
All these blog boys that are going to jerk off to how right they were, I'm just going to be like, cool story, bro. What does that do for you now? You're still a Bears fan. Yeah. You were right. Good for you, man. Are you getting a front office job out of this? Are you writing for the Tribune now? Like, who fucking cares? Who cares if you were so right about Mitch versus Matt versus what's right or wrong? We are still in the same goddamn place we were in 1985 with one Super Bowl, one appearance. Whoopity-doo.
On a positive note,
Chris,
I do really like
the 40s were, bro. Come on, sing us a song of our yesteryear.
I was trying to think of a 40s song, and then I couldn't even think of one. Like, I think how much is that doggy in the window? That might have been a 40s song. Like, seriously, like commercials were the fucking songs back then.
What the Bears signed a lineman today.
Yeah, tell us about this guy, former Charger, Schofield, huh? Right?
Chicago native, Orlando Park native, wherever that is. When I first saw the tweet, I thought Orlando Park was the guy, not the place.
I thought it was Orlando Pace's like knockoff.
Yeah. It was like, oh, the Bears signed Orlando veteran Orlando Park. I was like,
guy?
Who's this?
Orlando Park, man. Did Orlando Pace change his name? Is he back in the league?
No.
Tell us about Matt Schofield, Mike Schofield. What's his name?
An interesting ad. Mike, I think. Mike Schofield.
His name is not.
So he's a guard. He's probably the leading candidate for the right guard spot. Brings another veteran in next to Lucas Patrick and Cody Whitehair.
Michael Schofield.
Who I guess people are questioning now if Cody's going to be the left guard, but
his name is not Samuel Mustafa. That's what I know.
Well, it's going to appease some Bears fans, and at the same time, for me,
He's a good pass blocker with a relatively low penalty count.
How do we know like what these kids can do if we don't give them a go? That's my only takeaway. But that's what camp's for, in my opinion. People are making way too much about fucking shit that happened when no pads were on. And
well, I think this
just holds weight because the GM signed a new guy too. So apparently it's enough. It's enough to go off of.
I think it just gives you a little bit of a floor on the interior there. The hope is that one of these young guys can ultimately win the position, or maybe it takes them a few weeks into the season before they feel like they're ready. But this is a guy who's been in the league for a little bit. He came up in the Kubiak system, so he's more than familiar with this. And like I said, he's a relatively low penalty type player. He's not. I don't even know if you could consider him good. He's probably just average or a little bit below average, but he's a solid pass protector, and he's been around for a little bit. So kind of gives you a veteran presence on the interior of the line there. And, you hope one of these young guys can step up and take a spot from him. But just like we said, it's not Mustafa. It gives you someone else there, another body to compete with. And that's really all I've been kind of pounding the table for, is just get some competition in there, get some veteran presence in there to help these young guys. And hopefully these young guys can take their spot. But if it doesn't happen, your floor is a below average line, which is better than a terrible line. So whatever.
No, and I'm totally fine with that. One year kind of stopgap or bridge to see what you have in the young kids. If if you have something, and if not, it gives you another year to kind of work the free agent market, work the draft. Maybe next year Lucas Patrick is a guard and you have a center. Maybe next year Doug Kramer, whatever that kid's name is the center, and Patrick is the guard. I don't know. I mean, it really depends, but yeah, it's never a terrible move. But like, the guy has 86 fucking starts in the NFL, and people were freaking out that we weren't signing somebody, and it's July 25th, and he got signed. And like, I want to see a lot of retracted tweets or a lot of sorry Ryan polls. I'm sorry, I didn't know like people like this were still available. I'm fucking like, shut up.
Go sign Julio Jones.
Why? So we can get injured in like quarter 2 of game 1?
1 year deal. Give me another receiver.
Where did he go to school, Joe?
No, my point is just that there are guys available to bring in. Yes,
That's
Alabama. He went to
That's
Alabama.
what I thought.
And
That's
yes,
the only reason. He's not like, that's it though. Like, that's the only like name receiver available, correct?
Bro, we got Tajay Sharp.
He's on the Bears though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I'm saying we don't need Julio. We have Tajay Sharp.
Oh yeah,
Harris.
see? We got
Joe.
Dante Pettis, bro. Or did he get
Joe's talking out of his ears over here. We have Isaiah Coulter.
What's that? Did that other dude get cut that had that run in with the law?
David Moore? I have no idea. Oh. Rumor has it he's still at Taco Bell.
with that unlicensed gun.
I don't even know I don't even know the full. I think you're getting confused. I thought someone else had the unlicensed gun.
Dude, I don't understand the Taco Bell reference, so you got me, bro.
No, that's where they called him at. He was sleeping at Taco Bell. That's why they called the police on him. That's what Joe said. He was sleeping.
Yeah.
Just sleeping in his car in the drive-thru. God
damn it.
And then he had weed and guns.
The best combination. Anyways, your lineman just proves your point, Chris, that there are still guys out there. And my point with Julio is that there's still – you can help a team by making smart signings late. And bringing in this lineman, great. Bring him in. Compete. More competition. I know we just drafted a butt ton of back end of the draft linemen, but
one who could be the starting left tackle.
Yeah, bring in as many bodies as you can to try out, to work out. If somebody's got the goods, you sign them to a deal and you see what they've got. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Ryan Poles is just still working his way through his first 7 months on the job, his first really 6 months on the job.
Yeah.
So
It's been tough too.
all
throwing his way.
All his cheapy wide receivers getting in trouble, doing donuts and getting pulled over in Taco Bell drive-thrus.
That's why I traded for N'Keal Harry.
Hey, and it might work out, but if it doesn't, what's the big deal? Getting rid of a next year's 7th round pick, like
2024 7th round pick.
Yeah. So
somebody said they wanted to insult N'Keal Harry as much as possible. The Bears are like, "Yeah, we'll give you a 2023 7th rounder." They're like, "No, make it 2024." So like, we're good. Fuck that, dude.
So wait, Joe. So camp starts tomorrow, or just the players report?
I think they report tomorrow, and we have practice on Wednesday. Is my understanding.
All right, I can live with that.
Make sure you tweet some stuff out, Joe, because we'll be on the golf course.
Yeah, I'll be on vacation.
Let me double check. Yeah. What do we shoot? We're all shooting 89s at the golf course. Is that where we're going?
It's a scramble, so I hope we're lower than that. But
oh yeah.
Chris says. We'll see.
Private practice on Wednesday, and the first public practice will be on Thursday. So we'll be making sure that we're watching out for Nicholas Moreno and Yusei Koshul and Greg Braggs and all those guys.
I was gonna say we should see if we can get somebody that's going to camp to come on the show. If any fans out there listening, you're going to camp, holler at Lucas or myself or Joe, and let us know if you'd like to come on and just give your.
But don't lie.
Give your take. I know if you're that guy that's overexcited or overhyped or anything, negative Nancy, like I'd love to hear your experience at camp because like we've said, none of us are in Chicago. We can't go.
I don't want the liar that says they're going to camp and didn't actually go.
Oh yeah, there are those guys out there, huh? They're like, oh yeah, you weren't there, bro. Yeah, for real. Don't lie. You better have Greg Braggs type tapes.
To me.
I want to see your jostled iPhone tapes on
Family
ESPN.
Fest on August 9th. And man, oh my gosh.
I am interested to see how the new regime handles camp because I wonder if it's still gonna be like Fort Knox where you can't.
Well, from what Usaid was saying, they had player like locker room interviews are back, so that makes me feel like media is going to have a little bit more access this year.
Hopefully, yeah. Keep it like
Fort
Knox.
Guys, we have a Bears preseason game in like 19 days.
Ooh, baby. Okay, yeah. Can't wait to see Trevor Siemian launching balls at David Moore.
Dude, who is it's Trevor? Okay, so Siemian and Peterman.
Whoa, man, baby, Peterman.
When they were doing that 1920 football drive, which like it's a great series. You guys should definitely check out because you're Bears fans and you need to watch it. There's a lot of new faces on this team that I'm like, who the fuck are these two schmucks in there with Justin? I could not remember. Not Nate Peterman's name. I was like, who's this other guy? Oh yeah, it's Trevor Siemian.
All the schmucks that were on the roster last year sucked dick.
Yeah, get them all out of here. Like I recognized Eddie, I recognized Roquan, recognized Komet, but that was pretty much it. They had film on that day they took to Wrigley where they did like a home run derby and that looked like a lot of fun.
That's a good idea.
Like they had a blast. So that was pretty cool. And then they took all the rookies to Soldier, had their lockers in the locker room and whatnot. And Velus Jones had his walker and everything that he took to Soldier Field. So that was interesting.
Hey, fun fact, Velus Jones from Mobile, Alabama. I didn't realize he was from Alabama.
That's your new favorite player.
Fun fact, N'Keal Harry been in the league 3 years, still younger than
Grandpa Jones.
Yeah. All right, Joe.
Outro.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Make every play clear the way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with the might so fearlessly. We'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears. And don't forget why you're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois. Chicago Bears. Bear down.